Well, yes.
Colonel, you want to start off this morning?
Oh, yeah. Good morning to everybody out there in electron land. Once again, we are back here on Portsmouth Coffee Talk, and we have a outstanding guest this morning, and we're going to introduce her in just 2 seconds. But I want to do the disclaimer right quick and saying the views stated on this program are those of the guests and the host, and not of the radio show. And so that keeps us out of Facebook jail. Now, as we continue on, Leah, you want to introduce our esteemed guest?
Well, of course, this was James' duty on this morning. But however, during this Women in History Month, I am so thoroughly pleased to share with you that we have Dr. Christina Ramsey, who is an eye doctor in an optometrist in the city of Portsmouth. And Doc, please forgive me. Sometimes I have those senior moments, but it's okay. I earned them, okay?
That's all right.
But we're just so happy to have her present on this morning. And as I was sharing with her earlier, sometimes we take for granted our eye health. And our eye health is very important, not only in our visual, but sometimes when we go to the doctor, she can also detect other things that are going on within our system by looking into our eyes. And you know, and as the elders used to say, the eyes are the windows of the soul.
That's
so
right.
I am extremely happy and pleased. I've heard a lot about Dr. Ramsey, and so I'm just happy to have an opportunity to actually meet you on this morning. So I want to say welcome, Dr. Ramsey. Welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been trying to get this scheduled for a while, but I'm here finally, and I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if you have an opening statement you would like to make, that will work with us as well.
Hey, everybody.
As we wait for James to get on board, okay?
Hey, everybody. This is Kristina with a K, Ramsey. I've been here since 2008, I believe. Yes. And I have optometry practice in Portsmouth, and I am here today to talk to you about eye health, what you need to do to keep your eyes, and any other health issues that you want to talk about. I'm open.
Wonderful. And one thing that we mentioned earlier when we were chatting is that you really should have an eye exam at least every year.
Well, I was saying that people of our age,
which hour?
We need to have it at least once a year. Now, if you're younger and don't have any eye issues, we recommend every 2 years. But you know, as we add up these birthdays, you know, we start getting cataracts and glaucoma possibilities, and so we want to do every year, even if you don't get glasses, just as an eye health checkup.
Okay. Colonel,
you know, yes, I asked first question. You know what? And I am so glad to see you in an optometrist, a healthcare professional that looks like you, because in our population, people that look like us across the country, I think it's like 1.8. I said that's 1.8% are optometrists that look like us, and I think the percentage of female optometrists, even though it's higher than the males for Black Americans, is a little bit higher. And so can you tell us how do you, what is other than what an optometrist does, how do we become an optometrist?
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
How do you become an optometrist? So all you have to do is just get your 4-year undergrad degree at any institution, and then you apply for application into optometry school. Now, last time I checked, there were 19 optometry schools across the nation. There's one in Puerto Rico. So there's not that many optometry schools, but we need to spread the word about optometry as an option, as a, you know, a professional career. But yeah, it's just 4 years undergrad and 4 years in optometry school. Some people choose to do a residency after optometry school. I chose not to, but it's whatever you want to do.
And why did you
What
choose
type
not
of
to do the
day?
residency?
All right, I wanted to make money as soon as possible.
Good answer. Good
I
answer.
wait one more year, and residency is really for more specialized careers. And I knew I wanted to be a general optometrist, not really specialize in one in contact lens or cornea or glaucoma. I wanted to treat everything. So I felt like my school, which is the best school, Southern College of Optometry, trained me well for that.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
It's in Memphis.
Oh,
It's called the Southern College of Optometry, not related to Southern University.
okay. All right. Now, Dr. Ramsey, just for those who may not know, could you tell us where you're located?
Yeah, I'm right off Portsmouth Boulevard, 5589 Portsmouth Boulevard, right behind the BB&T. I'm close to Manor High School, or AKA Wilson High School. So Elmhurst and Portsmouth Boulevard, across the
Okay.
street.
And you are taking patients at this time?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to welcome James Slim Overton to Portsmouth Coffee Talk on this morning. Welcome, James Slim Overton.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Just call me Monday morning sleepyhead, and but I'm here, and I did oversleep. You know, I keep it real with y'all. I woke up at 4 and said, "Okay, I got a few more minutes." Next thing I know, Leah was calling me, but those things happen Monday morning. So I'm here, and welcome, Dr. Ramsey. Great to see you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, James, do you have any questions for Dr. Ramsey?
Y'all continue on because let me catch up because I
Let
just
you
came.
catch up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Colonel.
Yeah. So when you talk about eye health, and as we get, as I don't like to use the old word, as we get mature,
Seasoned, Colonel. We're seasoned. Okay.
yeah, seasoned. I am concerned with the amount of folks out here with diabetes. It is wreaking havoc within our populations. And could you talk to those folks out there because you know when you start getting that pre-diabetes, diabetes, and what is the effect on the eyes in your eye health?
Absolutely. So as soon as you get diagnosed, or even when they say that you're pre-diabetic, you need to go
Yes.
and find an optometrist, okay? Because what's going to happen is that as we learn to control your diabetes, your blood sugar is going to be going up and down. And when your blood sugar goes up and down, it causes your blood vessels in your eye and in the rest of your body to leak blood. Okay. So if your blood sugar, like your A1C, is out of control, you're bleeding somewhere in your body. Okay. So why it's so important to see optometrists is that this is the only place where we can look inside your body and see what's really going on somewhere else. Okay. So if there's bleeding in the back part of the eye, which when we dilate you, that's what we look for, then we know that there's bleeding somewhere else and your diabetes is not under control. Some people learn how to trick the doctor, their endocrinologist or their primary care doctor, and get their A1C low enough so that the doctor doesn't know. So it's kind of a double check to get your eyes checked to make sure that you're really not trying to cheat the doctor. And you might need more medicine, or you might need training with a nutritionist. So it's very important. And people have gone blind from diabetes, and that's either so much blood leaking in the back part of the eye, or you even have like a stroke in your eye, and people go blind from that. So it's not something to play with. So if you find a good optometrist, and they shouldn't be pushing glasses on you every year. They should just be really checking for eye health, and they'll let you know, do you need glasses or not? But we're more concerned with your eye health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
what
you
other
mentioned
disease?
stroke.
Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, Colonel. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned strokes, and then how about the effects of hypertension? Because that's another disease that affects us, and that on the eyes.
Yes, it's the same thing. So the crazy thing about high blood pressure is that it also causes bleeding if it's out of control, but it's a different type of bleeding. So when we look in the retina, which is that back part of the eye, we can tell if it's a diabetic retinopathy, diabetic bleeding, or a high blood pressure bleeding. And high blood pressure really can also cause strokes to the eye, more prevalent than diabetes. And most of the time, if you have a stroke in the eye, depending on where it happens, there's no recovery from that. And it's just, it's a very emotional discussion with the patient when it happens.
So once you have that stroke in the eye, is that when blindness began?
Yeah, it calls partial blindness or total blindness, depending on how severe the stroke was.
Wow. Wow.
So there's nothing in that.
What other diseases would you be able to detect by looking into our eyes?
What's the other one? It's an autoimmune disease that we get. I'm drawing a blank right now.
That's okay. It's okay. It's Monday morning.
Especially as us African Americans. Oh my gosh.
We'll come back to that because sometimes if we leave and come back, then we're in a better place. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Go ahead, Colonel.
Yeah. So let me put this other piece out there, and for those who are out there in electron land. And so, if you like what you're hearing, we also need your help, and so that we can see our way to the future. And if you'd like to send a donation or honorarium to Portsmouth Coffee Talk, P.O. Box 7664, Portsmouth, Virginia 23707, so that we can see our ways to the future. And we really need your help. So the other thing too is, as I get, now that I've done that, I look at liver disease and the jaundice of the eyes, and the yellowing of the eyes from alcoholism, or could be another case where I have some other things with my, just alcoholism is the main one, and turning yellow. And so I see that in my eyes. What's the cause of that?
That's just basically your liver depositing toxins into that white part of your eye. And also, let's talking about toxins, the cholesterol. I don't know if you've seen in people of our age, we get that white ring around the color part of the eye. That's actually cholesterol buildup.
Oh, it is.
So when I see that in someone who's young, like 40, 45, we have a discussion about, have you had your cholesterol checked? Because even though it's more common in people who are 65 and older, if you see it in a younger person, that means they might already have a problem with it.
Wow, that's and that's good to know, because if you're not going to your primary care physician, at least if you're going to have your eye checked, you can catch up on some of those things, those symptoms that are going on in your body. So that's great to know. But one thing I wanted to ask you about were cataracts. I know a lot of people who have cataracts. Tell us about the cataracts.
Yeah, so when you're born, you're born with a lens, like a camera lens, and that lens is perfectly clear when you're born. But over time, as you hang out in the sun, the UV rays from the sun make the cataracts worse. If you're a smoker, it makes the cataracts worse. If you don't eat the right nutrition, can add the cataracts. But everybody gets cataracts if you live long enough. So over time, the cataracts actually get cloudier and cloudier. That lens gets cloudier. So hopefully after 65, what we do is do a small procedure, usually takes about 5 minutes, and we take the entire lens out and we put in a new lens, okay? And most of the time, that new lens has your prescription that you need in it. So a lot of people don't even need full-time glasses after cataract surgery. And they only do one cataract, one eye at a time. So you're not gonna be walking out like that. So it's really not the scary procedure that it used to be. People don't come out with Coke bottle glasses like they used to. It's literally by the time the surgeon touches you to where he finishes, it's about 5 minutes.
And how long do you have to wait from one eye to the next eye?
Most people do between 4 to 6 weeks. Some people just need one eye and they wait another couple of years. We don't like to do any unnecessary procedures with if we don't need to. So if you only have one eye, that's bad. And a lot of people get traumatic cataracts. So you don't have to be of an older age. If you get hit in the eye with a softball or a baseball bat or any kind of altercation, you can develop a traumatic cataract. And it probably need to be taken out before 65.
Okay, and what about glaucoma?
Glaucoma is a little bit different process. It usually causes the pressure inside the eye to increase. And that pressure, because you've got delicate structures in the back part of the eye, it can cause damage to your optic nerve. And the scary thing about glaucoma is that you start losing your side vision first. And a lot of people don't even realize that it's going until it gets to the point where you're almost at tunnel vision. And then they want to come in for glasses, and glasses aren't going to help. We have to start doing either a drop or surgery. But glaucoma is not something that everybody gets. It does run in families, but it's not like cataracts where, you're just aging. Glaucoma is actually a disease process.
Okay. James, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, Doctor. Well, one thing, it's amazing how much information about the eye health is out there, and we very seldom talk about it for something that's so important to our existence as our sight. But anyway, I have two questions, and one of them is, I talked to you when we talked earlier in the pre-interview about a friend of mine I had who wore glasses, and he was like 80-something years old, and he had that eye surgery, and no longer needed his glasses after 80, however long he wore glasses. And that surgery has to be amazing, but it's considered selective surgery, so it's not really covered by your insurance. But talk about that surgery and how that really works, especially for someone that's had bad eyesight for so long. And by the way, I had the cataract surgery on both eyes, and don't need my glasses, but I still need them for reading. And the only thing that could correct that is that eye surgery. But explain how that works in a person, especially someone who has had bad eyesight. Once your eyesight goes like that, and then you that advanced in your age, how can that be recovered like that?
Well, having not examined him, I'm thinking that he had probably had bad eyesight and just needed glasses. It wasn't like he was going blind. So he probably got a surgery. He probably had cataract surgery in both eyes, and he might have selected to do the laser surgery where you have the procedure where you put the implant in, the new lens, and it has that mechanism where you can actually focus like you used to do when you were 20 years old. So you put both of those in each eye, the implants, and you're focusing up close and able to see far away just by the surgery. Now that special type of implant actually is not covered by Medicare. Okay, so you have to pay a little extra to get that. But the basic cataract procedure to get those replaced is completely covered by Medicare. So he opted probably to do the special implant, or he may have done something where he had one eye fixed for distance and one eye fixed for near, so that he could have both distances perfect. But yeah, that's what I'm guessing happened.
Yeah, and I might add, if I'm correct too, you have to qualify for that. Not everybody qualifies for that type of surgery that will actually help them.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for that. My other question would be, a lot of people at a certain age, or maybe even younger, have problems driving at night, and I'm happen to be one of those. It seems like, at one time I didn't, but now it seems like I have problems driving at night. What causes that? What is that, Ove? Is there anything that can correct that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that can contribute to that. The easiest one is to clean the inside of your windshield.
Yeah, right.
Very good answer. Great answer.
But seriously, yeah. So even as you, again, I know those birthday things, the macula, which is that back part of the eye, you're losing a little bit of that thickness in the macula. And so it causes a little bit of distortion when you drive at night, a little bit harder to discern certain things at night. The other thing is, even after cataract surgery, when you have the new implants, you can have some buildup. Your body kind of deposits fluids on that implant, and it causes some distortion. So every few years, you might need to go in and have that the deposits cleaned off the implant. The other thing is a lot of people suffer with undiagnosed astigmatism. Okay, so astigmatism, especially at night, can cause a lot of problems with driving, and the flare of the light on the street lights and the light signals can cause some problems. So definitely, if you're having trouble at night, there are diseases that cause night blindness. Not as common as people think, but there are some of them, and it's not very common in us. Okay, so I would definitely get an eye exam to see what the true problem is.
Mm.
And the last thing, co-host, a lot of people, and we all know people, and we've all done it or might still do it, do our yard work, cutting our grass without any eye protection. And I'm sure you get a lot of people coming in there where a rock, flew from the lawnmower, into their eye or something, some kind of debris fell in there. For our listening audience, and most people know that they need to do that, but we don't think about that, until something flies in our eye. Even out there, a bug could fly in your eye. How important it is to have proper protection on when you're doing anything out in your yard, weed whacking, cutting the grass, or sometimes just being out there during the springtime when all these bugs and things are flying around, how important it is to protect your eyes.
Yeah, riding a bike, riding a motorcycle, those are all things that keep flying into your eye. And a lot of people think that just regular eyeglasses will protect you. And and technically it will, because it's some kind of barrier with your eyes. But if you're really doing something that's going to be more than a few minutes, I would recommend getting a pair of safety glasses. And even the safety goggles, safety glasses that they sell at Lowe's with no prescription is better than a regular pair of glasses. These glasses are not rated to protect you from, many flying debris from grass or rocks or anything like that. So they do pass safety tests, but not for that kind of environment. So I would definitely recommend getting a pair of safety glasses. And even the cheapest ones, we don't have to do anything crazy. Now, if you work in a shipyard or something like that, then I would recommend getting the prescription glasses that they have, okay, because that's going to protect you a little bit more. I have had a bug fly into my eye while wearing contact lenses. And so that was really, really stressful while I was riding the bike. So I totally understand. But but if you get something in your eye and don't try to dig it out, because we have the special tools to take it out for you. And we don't know how to replace the eye yet. We can do cataract surgery. We can fix the dryness of the front part of the eye, but if you lose an eye to laceration or anything like that, then you're going to be blind. But the good news is, in Virginia, you only need one eye to drive. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, Miss Joyce Smith wanted to know, do you take most insurances?
Right now, I take all insurances except TRICARE. TRICARE wants their active duty members to go to their military hospitals.
Right.
So if you're retired, I can take.
Now, I have a problem with dry, itchy eyes. And I know the itchiness is probably due to allergies. I'm diagnosing myself, physician heal thyself, but with dryness and itchiness.
Yes. So the crazy thing about dryness and itchiness, they kind of build on each other. They kind of make one worse and the other one makes the other one worse. So you got to get down to the base problem. What's causing this itchiness and dryness? So what you need to do, dryness will treat with either over-the-counter tears, or we may need to do some more testing to see if it's an inflammatory response. Are you responding to something in the air that's making your eyes dry, or are you responding to something in the air that makes your eyes itch? So there's actually little bumps. When I look in the eye, I look inside the lids, and there are little bumps there that tells me if it's allergies or dryness. Oh. Isn't that crazy? Oh my God. So
little bumps behind the
right in the eye. Yeah. Yeah. So you know how in school you used to flip your eyelids over, or the guys did. Yeah. So I do that too, to see what's going on underneath the eyelid and see if it's allergies or dryness related. So it's fun.
I have to say this, Leah. You said talk about self-diagnosis. That's just like representing yourself in court.
Yeah, exactly.
Being your own lawyer, so don't spread that.
I said, when I complete this interview, first thing I need to do is call and get an appointment. Okay.
Absolutely. Now, do y'all know the difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So optometrists go to a separate school. We go to optometry school. Whereas an ophthalmologist, they go to medical school and then they choose to do ophthalmology afterwards. Or someone chooses to do gastroenterology. So optometrists, until just recently, we do not do any surgery. Okay, we don't do cataract surgery. There's no cutting involved in what we do. I do some drilling to get out foreign bodies that people, metal stuff in their eye, but I actually don't break the surface of the eye. Whereas ophthalmologists, they'll cut on you in a minute. So, but there's some laws that are changing in some states that we might be able to do some clearing of the cataract implant called YAG in some states, and then there are some states where they're doing a little bit of LASIK laser surgery for diabetics. So that definition between the optometrist and ophthalmology is a little bit different, but basically optometrists do no surgery.
And then you have the optician.
And the optician. So optician is one of our providers, helps providers, and they're specialized in glasses and also contact lenses. They're the experts on designing glasses.
Okay, all right.
Now, doctor, the relationship between the optometrist and the ophthalmologist, is it like a one-step process, two-step process? You usually go to the optometrist before you go to the ophthalmologist, or do people go straight to the ophthalmologist?
Depending on your history, we've had a pretty good relationship with ophthalmologists in the past. It was a little bit strained, probably like 30 years ago, when we were all trying to figure out our places in the medical field. But it's easier to get into an optometry practice and get that base eye exam, and then knowing that the optometrist is going to refer you to an ophthalmologist if there's some other things that she can't handle. So if I see someone that comes in, they're a new patient, and they've got advanced glaucoma, like beyond what I can do. Like, so I can treat glaucoma, but once it gets to a point where you start to lose sight, I need to send that out to an ophthalmologist, and they'll probably start doing surgeries to help prevent the sight loss. So yeah, I have a couple of different ophthalmology practices that I love to refer to, that I trust. And so it's a back and forth. And then as soon as I send them over there and they're done with what they need to do with ophthalmology, they come back and get glasses or contact lenses. So it's just one step.
And we talked earlier before we went on the air about this new medication that they're advertising on TV. And I thought that I was a candidate, but now you let me know that I'm no longer a candidate to receive the medication. So share with us about that medication.
I am so sorry about that, Ms. Leah. So it's called Vuity, okay? And the crazy thing about new medicines, we are designing new medicines, but a lot of medicines are old medicines just reformulated. So Vuity is actually an old glaucoma drop. And the very first glaucoma drop that we had to treat glaucoma. And so what they did is they realized that it was causing the muscles in the eye to contract, actually causing people to get a little bit better vision for up close. And so they took it down. It's not the strongest, formulation percentage, but it took it down just enough so that it creates that focusing ability like you did when you were 20. But it only lasts for a few hours. So most people have been able to do is like 6 hours. 4 to 6 hours is you got to put the drop in again the next day. Okay. So it's not a permanent fix. It does cause some redness, some sensitivity. There have been reports of a little bit of retinal attachments. And that's why they stopped using it as a glaucoma drop. It was a little bit too many side effects at that percentage. So, but people don't want to use glasses. So we'll see how it works. I have a sample in my office, and I need to take the time and do it one day when I'm off.
And so you're gonna use yourself as the guinea pig, huh?
Exactly.
but
let me step in. It's almost 7 o'clock, so we have to make that transition from the radio to Facebook Live. And we want to thank all the listeners on WGPL 1350 AM for joining us this week. And make sure you come back next week, as our guest will be Dr. Ernestine Duncan, from Professor of Psychology at Norfolk State University. And again, thanks everybody. And we're here for those who might just be joining. We have optometrist Dr. Christina Ramsey. And so, Leah, I think you were talking before we made the break.
So now, like with my vision is not really good. However, sometimes I find that if I shine a light on the object, I can see it a lot better.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that?
Yeah. So you know the pupils that the black part of the eye, not the color part, the black part. When you shine a light, it actually constricts, and it actually causes like a fake focusing ability, so that you see things a little bit clearer. Light always helps, but it constricts that pupil, and it's kind of like that glaucoma drop or the viewing drop. It's doing the same thing, but a little bit longer acting than having the light.
Yeah, because I notice if I forget my glasses and I go to a restaurant, if I can shine my phone light onto that menu, then I can read that menu. Otherwise, I can't see it at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, you know, we have a deal with restaurants to make it dim on purpose so that we could have people go to the optometrist.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm a candidate then, that's for sure. Colonel?
Yeah, you know what? I want to circle back to the educational requirements and to be an optometrist. So if I'm coming through, I'm in the SA, I'm at Norfolk State or Hampton or whatever, in one of our HBCUs. What is the majors in the GPA that I need to apply to get in the optometrist program across the country? And are there any, the other thing is, are there any optometry programs in HBCUs?
No, there are no optometry programs in any HBCUs. So they're all in either private universities or associated with other public universities. The schools are looking for, of course, a diverse candidate who most likely are better than a 3.0 GPA. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. But also you need to have all the prerequisites, the biologies, the chemistries, there's some anatomy that you need to take. And there's an optometry test that you need to take, an admission test before you go into the interview process. And it's called the OAT. And it's basically like a mini MCAT for medical school. But they grade you on reading, on your science intelligence, and math, I believe also. I know it's been a while since I've taken it, but as a low represented minority group, I think there's a little bit of range there. You know, the 3.0 isn't probably a hard 3.0, to be honest with you. So, but if you have other skills, you intern in optometry practice, where you know a little bit more than all your other colleagues, that would help. Or if you've taken special classes to learn about optometry, or you've done any volunteer work in the field, I think that also helps to get in.
So do you find many young people trying to intern into optometry professions?
No, and that's something that we really need to work on. I know your guest a few weeks ago, she was talking about getting more African Americans in optometry, and that's definitely something that's definitely needed. I didn't even think about optometry. I kind of took a non-traditional route to optometry. I actually graduated with a degree in chemical engineering and worked as
a degree in what?
Chemical engineering.
Okay. Well, that's quite hard. That's at opposite ends of the spectrum.
A little bit different. So I practiced as an engineer for 5 to 6 years before realizing that I really wanted to go back to school. And I looked at different careers. I knew I wanted to be in medicine. I looked at dentistry, and I was like, no. I looked at pharmacy, and pharmacy, the pharmacist I talked to, he was very matter of fact. He said pharmacy is not, you can't be a private practice pharmacy like they used to back in the olden days.
Right.
He's like, everybody's selling out to Walgreens or CVS, and if you want private practice, don't go to the pharmacy. And so I just happen to have my annual eye exam scheduled, and my optometrist He said, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do dentistry. I don't want to do pharmacy. And he said, become an optometrist. I was like, of course.
Yes.
And I mean, I've been going to the optometrist since I was 6 years old. You know, why was that not an option?
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's never brought as an option. So one of my goals is to make sure everybody knows optometry, and it's a lot easier to get done with. I mean, it's 4 years after college, whereas medical school, you know, that's 6, 8 years, and then you got to do all these residencies and late nights, and you know, I don't like getting up in the morning. I don't like staying up all night. So,
Mhm.
so,
So you chose what works best for you.
that's right. That's right.
Good thing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Katrina, I was going to bring that up. I didn't know if you had talked about that. Your first profession was in chemical engineering, and that's amazing. That switch, and a lot of times now, a lot of people back in the day would stay on a job and get that gold watch after about 25 or 30, 40 years. And a lot of young people now are switching careers as their desires for their career change. And you did that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And one thing that probably helped as far as education, what you did in undergrad school in chemical engineering prepared you for optometry school, because some of those same subjects in chemistry and biology, I think you probably had to take in undergrad school, preparing you for chemical engineering, made it a smoother transition going into optometry. Like you said, you didn't want to go further than that, than have the 7 more years or something like that in medical school. But that's kind of encouraging to people who choose a career, because you choose your career kind of early in life. And that doesn't mean that whatever you choose, if it's not satisfying you, you have to be in there for the rest of your life. There are options for you to make a transition. And what a different transition that was, you know, from chemical engineering to what you're doing now. But you can make those choices. You know, it's never too late to make those choice changes that you made early in your life.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, when I made that choice, I was 27, 28, almost about to be 30. I started optometry school at 30, and all these optometry students were straight out of college, 22 years old. And I swear, they could look at something and memorize it. But even maybe I wasn't even the oldest in my class. There was one person that was 32. So, but I had to work hard because my brain just wasn't as quick as those 22-year-olds. But I made a conscious choice. This is going to be what I do the rest of my life. And so I worked really hard. I wasn't a valedictorian, but I didn't graduate at the but I think when you choose that second career, you realize this is what I'm going to do, and I am not going to be, you know, I'm going to be successful at it. So, and I enjoyed chemical engineering. It was just, it wasn't enough people involvement. And I found myself getting positions in the company where I was doing more people interaction. I even left and did HR at that same company because I was just like, you know, engineering is not doing it for me. And so I found optometry is a great balance between science and the people, you know. So, but it applies everything. Oh, the funny thing about me applying to optometry school after being gone from school so long, I had to retake all these chemistries that I had taken in undergrad because they required it to have to be within the last 5 years. And I had just missed it by, you know, I practiced, you know, 6 years later. So, so that was fun going back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. You speaking of, you know, being chemical engineering, I remember the last Surgeon General for the Army, who was a Black female. She was an engineer from West Point.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and a lot of the engineer, because the military at West Point, they get the majority of their engineers come through West Point, but those folks are the first ones up in line to apply for med school. because we don't have like a biology major at West Point, so they go to engineering, and you get those the chemistries and all that within there, and then they take a few classes. You get the biologies and the anatomy physiologies on the side, and then they apply to go and do what they want to do in life, meaning they come to the other side, the healthcare field, do something they love. So that is a great thing. So, but the other thing, because I love the education part. So the typical optometry program, 4 years, cost me what for 4 years, every year for a 4-year program?
Well, that is highly dependent on where to go to school and where your in-state tuition. Okay, so back when I was in school, it was about $20,000 a year for each year to go to optometry school. So about $80,000 to $100,000 in debt afterwards. Of course, they have scholarships and everything like that. California schools are way more expensive. Chicago has an optometry school. One of the reasons I didn't go there because their tuition was so high. So as you're interviewing to be an optometrist, to go to the school, you really need to look at your debt load after you graduate, and if that's smart enough, smart decision for you. Typically, the southern schools are a little bit less expensive than the northern schools. New York has one. I really want to go there so bad. It's in Manhattan. It was so cool to live in New York for 40 years, but I couldn't handle that tuition. I was like, I can't do that to myself, especially this late in my life.
Where did you do your undergraduate work?
Texas A&M, down in College Station, Texas.
Okay. Are you from this area, Dr. Ramsey?
No, I'm from the Dallas area.
From Dallas? Oh, Lordy. Oh, my God.
Cowboys.
Please.
Yeah.
My mom and my brother are big Cowboys fans, but I don't really follow it.
Smart lady.
I saw one time you were in Irving, Texas. So you were right there in Cowboy land.
Yeah, I sure was. I have been to the new stadium, and it was beautiful, absolutely fantastic. But it wasn't even for a game; it was just a tour of the stadium.
Well, what made you come to Virginia?
I was waiting for that question. So what happened is that because this is my second career, and in my first career, I had worked in Dallas, Irving. I worked in Kentucky. I worked in upstate New York. And I kind of knew what kind of environment I wanted to live in. So I was very specific when I started interviewing after graduation where I wanted to live. So after living in upstate New York, I knew I didn't want to live up there anymore because it was too cold. And Texas has a lot of optometry schools in it. Like we're almost oversaturated in Texas. So you make more money in a state that doesn't have an optometry school in it because there's not as many, there's not an optometrist on every corner. So I knew I didn't want to be in a state that had optometry school in it. I also wanted to have a state that was an Eastern time zone because I just felt like that just makes more sense. And I lived in Phoenix for a couple months as an intern, and I hated being behind. As soon as I wake up, I know everybody on the East Coast is up.
Right.
It's like I didn't want to be behind, and so I picked Virginia, and so that it worked out great. I worked for Dr. Cornetta in Portsmouth for a couple of years afterward. Had a great time, and so I knew Portsmouth was where I wanted to be.
Okay, very good. Well, welcome to Portsmouth. We're glad you came. You decided to come here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I never heard it all.
Yeah, we're glad to see you in the great state of Virginia, and you escaped the state of Texas, who is every other month they're trying to secede from the union with that crazy governor, and they got some things going on. They got some things going on in Texas that are just crazy.
Right.
Yes, they're just crazy down there. But I'm glad to see you down here.
Thank you. Yeah, my mom and dad, and I have 2 sisters and a brother still in Texas, and a sister in California. So we talk about Texas a lot.
Well, there is an underground railroad, and get on and get on out of Texas.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
But
Doctor. Oh, go ahead, Colonel.
yes,
I'm
so
sorry.
you mentioned the most optometrists work for independent practice, and the difference between independent practice or working, say, at a Walmart in a corporate area. So what is the percentage of those working in independent practices, and what are the fallback? What's the difference, and why would I want to work for the independents versus, say, at a Walmart or Sam's or whatever in corporate world?
All right, so I've done both. So I'm going to try to be unbiased, but I am biased. But the corporate world is great for new graduates because they entice you with that salary, and because they can afford to pay you so that you can pay your student loans. And a lot of people start out that way, because I've got to get these loans down. Walmart promises to pay me, if I open my own practice, just starting out at school, what if nobody comes? What if I don't have any patients and I can't pay my student loan? I've got a car payment. And so it's really enticing to work at a Lens Crafters or iMart or something like that. But the problem is, not every corporation, but they're really interested in the bottom line. So they really want you to see 40 patients a day. And honestly, there's really no way you can give them really good care doing that. And then they also want you to be open 7 days a week. So who wants to work 7 days a week for forever? It's like, we can't have one day off, and people get burned out. And so you realize, I need to have a better life. And so you look into private practice. Now, there are some people who are able to go straight into private practice, either joining another practice or like I joined Dr. Cornetta's practice, but I also supplemented my income by working at Lens Crafters on my off days. And then after I
So you ended up working 7 days a week anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it's also about managing your finances better.
Right.
Have this degree, you're a doctor and you want to be able to go places and have a nice car and a nice house, and you're spending too much money. But once you realize what's really important, your quality of life is important. So I used to work 5 days a week in my practice. We just recently went to 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and it is phenomenal. Like, it has changed my life, just having that one extra day. And it's like, I wouldn't trade that for the world. But we gotta make more money on the other days. But still, it's just I think everybody needs to know that you can have what you want and have a quality of life.
Exactly. Right about that.
Yes.
Dr. Katrina, and I call you Dr. Katrina because I feel like I've been knowing you forever. We've been Facebook friends for a while and talking off and on about coming on the show and several things. And I've been promising I was going to start coming to your office, and now I probably will be calling this week, especially since I get a recommendation from Lisa Graham saying she switched from, I'm not going to say who she switched from, to you, and she loves you. So, and I already made that decision to do it. I just haven't done it yet, but now that I get that confirmation from one of our watchers, one of our followers, I'll be making that call this week, and especially since you said you take all the insurance, I have Humana, so.
But at least you need to call my office. You just tell her to get in here.
Look, I wanted to kind of get back to eye health, and it's been the young people have been on computers forever, but during the pandemic, a lot of us elders or a little older have been on the computers more with our Zoom meetings, and like the three of us, all of our shows are on Zoom. Talk about how we need to protect our eyes from so much computer screen exposure.
Okay, so we have noticed optometry as a profession that the kids are really being negatively affected by all this screen time. Okay. So one thing we've noticed is that they're becoming more nearsighted because all they're doing is right here in front of them. Their bodies are still growing, and their bodies are saying, oh, this is all I do. I look at this screen right here, and I need to become more nearsighted to make it easier for me to see up close. If they could, I'm kind of veering off the subject. If they could go outside for an hour a day, that would help prevent that nearsightedness from happening. Okay, so just, I mean, even 30 minutes, I'll take anything. Even though I love all these nearsighted people coming in and as building my business, that's not what I'm here for. I need to have the eyes to be healthy. The other thing is, with all the screen time, I'm seeing a lot more dry eye in little kids. You know, they're not blinking as often as they should. Okay, so they're staring, they're totally into the computer and they're not blinking, and their tears are drying out, and they're rubbing their eyes, or they're just irritable, and their eyes are getting red. So if you could teach them to look away from the screen, I don't know how you're gonna do this. I don't have any kids, so good luck to y'all. Every 20 minutes, you need to look away from the screen, 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Okay, 20, 20, 20. Okay, and that will help tremendously. And that's for everybody, adults, kids, teenagers, everybody. 20, 20, 20, 20 feet away, 20 seconds, 20 minutes, 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Wow.
The other thing is the blue light from the screen has shown to be negatively affecting the eyes also over long term. So they just recently, well, not recently, maybe 10 years ago, started developing blue light filtering glass in the lenses. So I would recommend, especially if you're in the computer all day long, it helps with the eye strain. Also, you want to get anti-reflective coating on the lenses to cut down that glare. Sorry, you hit a soft spot for a dry eye. So also in your computer screen, if you didn't know this, make sure your screen is lower than your eyes. So you want to always be looking down at the screen. If you have a computer that's up, you're not going to blink as often. Okay, and then your eyes are going to dry out. So just even a little bit lower than your eyesight, look down at your screen, and that will help a lot too.
Okay.
So you mentioned blinking, and which is involuntary eye function, and along with looking away, and you might have said this, along with looking away, should we voluntarily blink? Would that really help, or
that would help? Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Now the other thing is your tears are actually 3 different liquids: oil, water, and mucus. Okay, so they need to be in balance. If you're not producing one or the other, you're going to have maybe crusty eyes, you're going to have watery eyes. So you really need to have, if you're suffering from dryness, you need to get that diagnosed. Which type do you have? Do you not have enough water? Are you not producing the oil from your glands and your eyelids like you're supposed to? So that's something that we can help you with too. Just reaching for an over-the-counter drop is not going to, usually doesn't help.
So you're saying we need to cry more?
Absolutely, absolutely. But if you're crying too much,
that's another issue.
Exactly.
Go ahead, co-host.
I'm just looking at Patsy Hines. Patsy Cavendish Hines says she is fantastic and she is funny. And so many people now saying they're going to change from their eye doctors. What are we going to do? Everybody, I better make my appointment since all these people are talking about switching over,
Well, don't think we have to come back and open up on Fridays with you.
We're going to bring you to 6 days a week. How about that? Give you 1 day off. Yes, but the comments are really great, and everybody's saying we need to support our own, and that's so true. Yeah. That's so very true.
And I'll just make this point too. A lot of people out there have very sensitive eyes, where you anything comes close to your eyes, you automatically blink.
Yeah.
And I always have these basketball stories. When I used to play, guys would tell me, and I didn't realize this. They tell me when I went in to make a layup, I made layups with my eyes closed.
Wow.
Because I was anticipating, contact and trying to protect my eyes, even though a bow would have gotten through my eyelid. But I didn't realize that I was doing that. And they said, man, how in the world are you gonna make a layup coming in here with your eyes closed? I said, I didn't realize that I was doing it, but I knew I always had sensitive eyes. And even when I went to the optometrist, it took a while for them to, get to the point where they could really look at my eyes, because I would automatically just close them. If you got near my eyes, I would, tighten up. But I guess that's an issue that a lot of people have, but it's still important for you to go there and put your trust in the doctor's hands, and make sure she can get in there and look at what needs to be looked at. And when you're making those layups, make sure your eyes are
Open your
open,
eyes.
because you might not be anywhere near the basket.
But
Well,
Dr.
we're
Ramsey,
calling it, we have muscle memory. And then
yes, how about that?
That's what it was, muscle memory.
But Dr. Ramsey, what about when they blow into your eyes? You know, what is the purpose of that?
yeah, so that is one of the screening tests for glaucoma. And
Oh.
so what it does, it actually blows a puff of air and it measures the puff of air that returns off the front part of the eye to tell us how much pressure is in the eye. Now, it's not the most accurate way to measure pressure, but we call it the screening. So if you're really, really high, then we'll know, you know, you need to be had for the test. The more accurate way, I don't know if y'all remember, I feel like I'm having, am I okay? The video seems to be a little slow. The yellow drop that you put in your eye, and
Yes.
that pretty blue light, that is called the Goldman, and that's the gold standard for measuring pressure. So air puff is okay, but the yellow drop with the gold light is the best way to know
The best
pressure.
way. Okay. Colonel?
Yeah, it is awesome. And I always I always consider your eyesight as your most important sense, because once it is gone, your life has changed forever. If you've seen folks walk around here with, that are actually blind, it's one of our senses that we just can't get back. And so I'd like to reiterate to our population out there, take care of your eyes, because you only get one set.
Mhm.
And when it is gone, it is gone.
But aren't they doing eye transplants now?
No.
They're not
No.
doing that?
No.
Where did I read that, huh?
News?
Fox News.
They're doing, as a part of when you donate, when you have volunteer to donate your organs, I think what they're transplanting is corneas in the eyes. It's for people that already have sight but have damaged corneas, with not people that are actually blind and they bring back sight. It's
right.
just parts of your eye that might be damaged that you already have sight, but a donated cornea or something like that can be part of an operation to improve your sight.
Yeah, and part of my volunteer that I like to do is I'm on the board of the Alliance Medical Eye Bank in Norfolk. And that's what we do, is that we take, people donate their corneas, which is that clear part of your eye on the very front, where your contact lens sits. Okay?
Yeah.
So we take that off, it's just a little sliver, and we can transplant that into somebody who just needs that front part of the eye. So if they got some kind of traumatic injury, a burn injury, they still have sight. Their brain cells and their retina and everything's all connected. It's just that it's opaque on the front part of the eye. You can transplant that. And
Yeah, I think Leah has been watching too many Frankenstein movies, and
exactly. Now there are some people getting some sight back as all these different types of diseases, not just blindness, but if they have some kind of an electrical problem in their brain, they can attach something back here to the occipital lobe and run it so they can kind of reactivate that part of the eye that they can see a little bit better. It's very clunky, it has many more years to get going, but that's not for the true blindness yet.
Okay.
You know what? I think it's real important that we also consider donating that piece of the eye. Why take your eyes and the corneas to the grave and donate that so you can help somebody back here that's back here on this side of the earth? And so really look at donations and organ donations. And when you sign the back of your driver's license and talk to your family saying, and so when that date does come, and it will come to all of us, that you can, impact somebody back here on earth.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a tough call. You're grieving for your loved one, and then the eye bank calls and says, can you will you donate the eyes? And we were a little bit taken aback by that. But we have a banquet every year where we invite the donor families and the recipients, and they actually have a conversation. And I mean, a lot of tears. I cry every single time. People tell us stories about how they regained their sight from their family members' donation. So And, it has to happen within, 6 to 8 hours of the passing for them to donate. And they don't take the whole eye. It's just that little sliver. Nobody would even notice.
So it's 6 to
Yeah.
8 hours after you've passed that they
Yes.
can remove.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
that time frame. You have to get
Yeah.
it while but tissue is still viable.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Doctor, we're winding down to the hour, but I wanted to throw in two other questions, and they would be about the term a lot of people talk about, the lazy eye, which I think I have, and is there corrective surgery for people that have eyes that are not really focused together? One eye might be going this way, and
Yep.
or what we used to call, well, cockeyed, or
Okay.
what, I don't know if that's the medical term for it, but I just have to use what what
Yeah.
everybody use. But first, with the lazy eye, and I guess we'll talk about that when I come in the office, because I notice I have one eye that sort of
That goes
tries
with-
to tries to go to sleep when I'm awake, and the other one is saying, "What's going on with you, man?"
Right.
So
There are surgeries to repair what we call strabismus. All right, where one eye either goes in or one eye goes out. At this point in your life, it'll just be a cosmetic procedure. So if you lost any vision because that eye doesn't like to do what it's supposed to do, you're not gonna be able to get that vision back. But it needs to be able to line it up so that people will know which eye to look at when they're talking to you.
yeah,
Okay. Now, with kids, it's very, very important. Okay. For kids, it's very important that they get seen early and get that corrected early, because again, their bodies are developing and their eyes need to know how to team. That's how we call it, teaming together, working together, so that they can get the best vision. So if they got one eye that's going off a little bit, even if we turn it in, at age 12, that vision will never be as strong as the good eye. It will never be 20/20. So if you notice a little kid whose eyes even wandering every now and then, it doesn't have to be all the time. We need to get them in. Either we need to do surgery or we need to do glasses to get those eyes working together as soon as possible.
Is there an age when children need to start seeing an yes, thank you.
Yes, kids need to be seen by their pediatrician. They should be doing the basic tests for eyes. There are some optometrists who do start at 90 days, 3 months old. I am not one of those people. I have no kids for a reason. But there are pediatric optometrists if they have issues. There's pediatric ophthalmologists, great ones here in Norfolk. So I could definitely send them to the right place. But generally, once they get to kindergarten is where we like to have a really good full examination, if nothing has been discovered before then.
Mm-hmm. Good, thank you.
It's also good to listen to your young children sometimes, because sometimes parents can write it off. A kid comes to, I'm having problems seeing, and they might think somebody else in the class has on glasses, and sometimes the kid, well, I want glasses too. But even if they are, pulling your leg, get those eyes examined, because I was first diagnosed with needing glasses when I was in elementary school. And at that time, a teacher sent a note home to my parents because they noticed I was squinching and had a hard time seeing the board. But and even then, my parents thought I just wanted glasses because my best friend had glasses. But when they took me to the optometrist, I definitely needed them. So
Yeah.
You have to pay attention to your children. They could be pulling your leg, but why take that chance, on their eyesight?
Exactly. And we love teachers for that. I mean, they do so much for our kids, and they're watching our kids for their eye health too. And so really the parents, when they get that note from the school, it's just like, okay, let's go ahead and take them. And I've had this one mom, she started crying because she didn't realize how bad her kid was. And she's like, I thought he was faking. I thought he was faking. Mama got on glasses. I'm like, Mom, you can't see either. Of course your kid can't see. So yeah, and we can tell when the kids are faking. And I have little tricks I use so that I can know, like, okay, you're faking. And parents to the side and say, for some reason they want glasses, that they do not need them at all. So I let the parents decide how they're going to handle it. But they still gotta buy glasses with no prescription, and I don't care.
Now, there's one mom up here, Lisa, who says that her son was born with a damaged cornea, but she was afraid for the child to get the surgery. What words of encouragement could you give to her?
Oh, no, it's very, very easy. It's so quick to replace the cornea. And especially being young, I mean, he's got so much, stem cells and everything that can fight and for rejection. And corneas don't really get rejected as much as other organs. And if he needs another one, it's okay. They do repeat corneas after 20 years all the time. So it would just be so much better if he could have that sight in that eye.
And if she delays getting him treatment, then
he'll never know, his eye will never know what 2020 looks like. It will always be blurry, no matter how many glasses you put on.
And when you hear people talking about a detached retina.
Yeah. So your eyeball, I wish I probably should have brought an eyeball with. Your eyeball is round, okay, and the very back part of the eye is like a film, like a camera film, okay, and that's called the retina. So everything you look at is on that retina, and it takes it to the brain. Now, sometimes if your retina gets stretched, or you have an injury, or you're really, really nearsighted, that retina starts to stretch and it starts creating holes or tears, and that retina will fall, and that is a detached retina. Okay. Now, the thing about detached retinas is that we can fix that if we know about it. Okay. So if it happens on a Tuesday, I need to know Tuesday that you're having the symptoms. Okay. So the symptoms are a lot more floaters. Okay. More than your usual amount of floaters. Flashes of light, like lightning strikes. Okay. That's the retina sending signals to the brain and saying something's not right. A curtain or a veil across your vision, like you want to pull this curtain away and you can't, and that's that detached retina floating in the side of your eye. So as soon as I see you and I put those drops in and I see the detached retina, I'm going to send you to ophthalmology, like stat. That is sight threatening surgery that we have to do right there. And it's easy, but surgery is easy. Just a little bit of laser. They tack that retina back up. It's like a little sewing machine, but it doesn't hurt or anything like that. Because once you, if you leave it too long, the blood supply to the retina is damaged. And then even if we tack it back up, you can't create new blood vessels in that retina.
Yeah.
And one more question, James. And when you have spots before your eyes.
Yeah, those are the floaters.
Those are the floaters. Okay.
Yeah, there's a gel that keeps the retina up on the eyeball, and that gel over time, it's all one piece when you're born, but over time it breaks up into little pieces. So every roller coaster ride where you're shaking around or a car accident is breaking up into little pieces. So that's what you're seeing, the floaters, the shadows of those pieces.
Oh, thanks for answering that. I thought I was seeing ghosts in my house. Things walking by my eyes. I said, what was that? But I kind of kept it to myself, but caused some sleepless nights. So you explained that they are floaters, not ghosts walking in my house. Okay. One last thing, what's your relationship with the Lions Club, and how the importance of us supporting their efforts, because their whole thing is about the eyes and making sure people have glasses that can't afford them or whatever they do. But their focus is eye health and helping people that probably can't afford some of the things that they need to do to protect their eyes.
Absolutely. So the Lions Club, started in Chicago almost, nearly 100 years ago. And I'm a member of the Portsmouth Post Lions Club. And there's a Lions Club in every city. And so what we're tasked to do is to help our community. It originally was vision and hearing aids. So we do supply glasses and hearing aids to people who can't afford it. But we've also expanded to diabetes, to hunger, environment. But my club, Portsmouth, we have one section of Portsmouth that we work with. Now there's a Churchland Lions Club that there's volunteers that help with, and then there's a Cataracts Lions Club. So we work in our community, which I love. It's just like Cataracts only works with Cataracts residents, and Chesapeake only works with Chesapeake residents. So we make sure that we're having an impact in our community. But yeah, so if there's a Portsmouth Coast Lions Club Facebook page, and so if you know somebody who needs help, we also pay for eye surgery. So if you're someone who needs cataract surgery, you don't have insurance, and you're not on Medicare yet, we also help with that too. We built ramps for people in their houses. So it's a great community organization. We don't talk about it as often, but reach out to us if you need anything.
And you do hearing aids as well?
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow. Didn't know
Yeah.
that. And I know the Lions Club, they used to come into the schools. I don't know if they still do come in and do screening on the kids.
Yeah, some cities still do. Recently in Portsmouth, they signed a contract with a private company that charges the school district to do the vision screenings, whereas the Lions Club, we were doing it for free. So we're for the past 2 years. So we're trying to get with the school board to try to get us Lions Clubs back into the schools, because we're all volunteers. We're doing it for free, and we still refer it to optometrists but why are you paying a company to do the same thing we were doing? So,
Okay.
so we're working on that. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity.
So
You know, I know
school board members, if you're out there, you're listening, work with the Lions Club to get them back into the school system.
Yes.
and I know we're going a little over, but I must mention this. We've had Dr. Paula Boone on, a retired optometrist on. Her main focus now is trying to recruit, going into the HBCUs and recruit African-American students to consider optometry. You know, she gave us some stats about how many African-American optometrists are in Virginia. Even a race of people that have a lower percentage of total people in the state of Virginia have more optometrists than the African Americans. So it's one of those fields that we should really consider. I think we talked about when she was on here, a lot of people wonder, you know, at first don't consider optometrists real doctors, just to put it bluntly. And I think if you watch the show today, you know that they are very qualified and real doctors, and it could be a good profession corporately or in private practice. So make sure you expose. Go ahead.
Any high school student or middle school student who wants to say, let me just see more about this. I love having people shadow me at work. So
Good.
just come up and say, hey, I want to see what optometrists do in a regular work day. So I'm open to
That's
that.
good to know. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
And we'll end on you, Doctor. Just give just one last general advice about protecting your eyes in between the visits, you know, because most of the eye visits are annual unless you have something that happens. So what are the preventative measures, you know, just simple preventative measures we need to be doing in between those eye visits?
Yeah, so
To summarize.
don't sleep in your contacts. Stop sleeping in your contacts, please. Throw away your contact lens case every 3 months. Don't put soap in your eyes, it hurts. And go see your optometrist, your friendly neighborhood optometrist.
So you throw away the case every 3 months?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I will talk about you if you bring your case in and it's dirty.
Oh,
I promise you that.
well, let me just say that I wore contacts once, and the contact came down, and it went down up under here, and I couldn't get it out. And I had to go to the doctor to have it removed.
Yeah,
And I haven't tried them anymore since then.
Were they the hard contacts or the soft ones?
They were hard contacts.
The hard ones, yeah.
Yes.
They can be a little stuck sometimes. But the
Yeah.
soft ones don't do that as often. Oh yeah, I want to tell y'all, the contacts, they can't go behind your eye. So if you lose a contact lens, it's not behind your eye. It's impossible. It fell out somewhere. So look on the floor on the side of the camera.
So it's not back there.
So with contacts, if I wanted to be a blue-eyed black man, I could achieve that. Huh?
Oh yeah. Any
Okay.
color you want.
Mm.
Any other comments?
I can see that now. That visual is out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably scary. That goes back into one of those Frankenstein things that I mentioned earlier. But
You remember
reinventing the black man.
a few years back, they were wearing all kinds of colors of contacts.
Yeah, it was quite popular, but
Yeah,
a blue-eyed black man, I'm not saying that's not genetically impossible, but you won't see that too often. But if I wanted to do that, I could do that. You know?
You totally do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just don't buy them from the hairdresser or the.
How about that?
Right.
So
Awesome.
we want to thank you. Any other last comments from the co-host?
Colonel?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for coming on and enlightening us about how to, if I want to be an optometrist and how to go about doing that, to the wide spectrum of eye health and all the breadth of knowledge that you have enlightened our listeners. And so I like to thank you ahead of time for that. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And Dr. Ramsey, Undersheriff Marvin Waters talks highly of you.
Oh.
And I knew just through his compliments that I needed to make an appointment. However, after having you on the show today, I know that I need to make an appointment, and I will do that. But it has been a pleasure. I'm sure that your chairside manners are just as great as you have been on the air this morning. So pleasant, so pleasant to talk to and to be around. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And your office will be receiving a call from me because it is time, because I have readers on. To buy online. What's that?
There's no anti-reflective coating on them either.
No, right. So, but I will be in touch with you. But once again, I want to say thank you so very much, and all the kind comments that the individuals are making on Facebook. I know that they are true. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talk. James?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say, I want to clear this up since we talked about eyes and I told you I needed glasses at a very young age. I want to clear this up for the people that might talked about me when I was at Malcolm and I sat on the bench when I was in the basketball player. One of the reasons probably because when we got to the bench, I didn't have my glasses on and I probably didn't see the coach calling me to go into the game. And that's probably one of the reasons that I, because he'll signal to you to come in the game, and if you don't see it, he'll call somebody else. And I think that's probably, some of the games I might have missed because of my eyesight, and I should have worn my glasses sitting on the bench, and I would have seen the coach calling me to come in the game. So
apparently you needed the hearing aid she was talking about as well. Then
well, I had bad hearing too. I have hearing loss in one ear, so I didn't hear or see.
Okay. Good excuse, James. Good excuse.
Evidently, you don't need either one of those to be a great basketball player. I told you how I used to make layups with my eyes closed.
I know with your eyes closed. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so so I just wanted to make that point. So make sure guys, my fellow bench players, make sure your eyesight is intact so you can see the coach calling you to come in the game because you can miss out on some things. So that's
that might have been the difference in NBA career.
I could have been there. Could have been retired by now.
Yeah.
James, they're asking if she's willing to give her. I'm sorry, Dr. Ramsey. They're asking if you're willing to give your number out.
Oh yeah. It's area code 757-394-9700.
I better make my appointment before all these people start calling me. That's for sure. My goodness.
And it's for the eye.
394-9700.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
Okay, well, again, thanks everybody for watching, and thank you, Dr. Katrina. We appreciate you, and we have to have you back. Oh, what did I say? I've been saying Katrina the whole time. I'm Christina.
Christina.
And look, and I told everybody we were friends, and I'm calling you the wrong thing. But it's a known fact that Slim Overton will mess your name up. He will
mess your name up every time.
If your name is Ed, I might call you Fred. So that's just one of the things that I do, and I apologize, but James, Christina was in the back of my head, but it didn't come out here. It's all
about the love, James. It's all about the love. Okay.
Well, we want to thank Dr. Ramsey for coming on. Did I get that right?
Yes, awesome.
Okay. Lynette. But anyway, using all the names that you go. But anyway,
telling
thank you everybody for watching, and we'll have you back. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk is here for our voice,
our community,
in our future.
and thank you for watching. We appreciate you. And be sure to tune in next week as we end the Women's History Month, and we will have one of our reoccurring guests, Dr. Ernestine Duncan, School of Psychology at Norfolk State University, as she will talk about some of the pressures that women face just being a woman in this world today.
and James, could you mention
thanks a lot.
Thursday night PM show?
Yeah, Thursday night PM show. Well, I will announce later once we confirm our guests. We're trying to get Emery Fields to be our guest, the longtime band director at IC Norcom Manor and Norfolk State University. So stay tuned for that. And the
IC Norcom High School.
Yeah, I did mention that. He started at IC Norcom.
No, you said Norcom High. You didn't say the IC Norcom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Norcom High, and respect to the Manor, the Manor High Mustangs. Yes, and yeah, tune in because it's interesting, like how he came to Portsmouth. Okay, thanks again, and we're signing off. Thanks everybody. We appreciate it.
Thanks everyone. Thank you all for listening.